Alrighty, looks like we're live. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for joining yet again for another Moonshire Monday. Still haven't broken my streak. Things are going really well with these streams. Thank you so much for being here. Today I am working on level design. I've been working on it since, well, I've been working on level design non-stop basically for the last 6 months. But last night I was in the middle of redesigning some levels, so I'm going to continue working on that today. That is the plan. We got a few people in chat already. Thank you so much for being here. We got David, Borger, Errol on Twitch. Thank you so much for being here. When multiplayer PvP, that would be a fun idea. I do want to put in something like that, but it'll take me a sec. I need to remix all the music so that it's not quite as loud. Well, the problem is some songs are more loud than others, so I need to like manually change the volume. Cosmo, welcome. I finally got blocking working in my game. Awesome, that's cool. Happy Moonshire Monday, y'all. Yep. Thank you so much for being here. Am I real? Yeah, I am. I know it's hard to believe, but yeah. Squid, Cosmo, Squid. I don't know how to read that name, but thank you all for being here. I am going to just be putting in tiles and putting in stuff. So like this map, for example, I need to put in the objects for this side of the map, because I redesigned just this left half over here, not AI generated. If I was an AI generated boy, that would be very impressive. You know, someday we'll get there. Someday we'll get there where the AI people will be so good. So I'm going to put this tree here. I'm going to call this Forest Fruit 1, actually. And then Forest Fruit 2 is going to go down here. I'm so bad at level design. I mean, I am, or I should say, I always was bad at level design as well. It was so difficult for me to figure out good layouts. But man, I've been on that grind, just designing levels and then, or designing a level and then immediately iterating on it and changing it again. And every iteration is better than the last one. So that's a sign that I'm improving. But at the same time, like, it is time consuming, it is a slog, and it is a grind. Do you have a tutorial on how to manage draw order and place objects on the map in Love 2D using tiled? I've been manually placing sprites through pixel coordinates. Yeah, so I do have a tutorial on that. Let me pull it up for you. Give me one moment to find it. So what you're describing is you have a tiled map and you want to be able to render that tiled map like in the actual game, and that is really important. So I have a tutorial on that. Let me get it. 78K views. Nice, not bad. I'm gonna post it in the chat. Okay, that link is a link to the tutorial on tiled, which is exactly what I'm doing right now. You can see that it's just a bunch of tiles, and then if I go to this map in the game, it'll have like that same layout of all that stuff. Any new tutorial coming soon? I'm not working on tutorials at the moment. I'm still very focused on getting this dumb demo updated, because the demo on Steam is good. It's a fun game to play, but my updated version, like this version that I'm showing off now, is just so much better. It fixes a lot of problems, and it fixes like just the layout of the game. I've been working on level design for all this time, so it's just getting better. Adele, welcome in. Robert says, what do you think is a fair wage to pay pixel artists? Do you pay per asset or in bulk? So my pixel artists, I've been paying them by the hour, because there's a lot of iteration that goes into any given art or any given pixel art. Like this character here, for example, I commissioned Ellie to make this character, and I'm pretty sure that like the first version didn't look quite like this, and I asked her to make adjustments, and that's the thing is, if a sprite takes an hour to create, I don't know if that artist should be paid the same amount of money if the sprite took, I don't know, 12 hours to make. Well, I don't know about that, because in the end, all I care about is having the assets done and good. So, you know, I guess we could say it that way. But at the same time, what I mean is, I ask artists for iterations a lot, and since those iterations take time, I think it's fair that they are paid for that time, because I ask the artists to create sprites that I don't use a lot. Like, there are so many unused sprites just because I was like trying things out, or I wasn't quite sure what I wanted, or I didn't give them clear directions, or my ideas changed. Like the ideas in my game have changed so much, even in the past like half a year. Who's that guy up there? He's just a blacksmith, and you can hit him. You made character and NPC sprites for yourself. Some of them, like the main character, I made myself, but a lot of the NPCs are made by Ellie. So like this character is made by Ellie. There's supposed to be one right here, but I don't have it in there at the moment. This character is made by Ellie. Have you ever thought of adding a horse or another faster transport? Yeah, that sounds like a cool idea. And what I'm on the fence about doing. What I'm on the fence about doing is putting, or making it so that you can teleport to any sunflower. Since these are the safe spots, like maybe you could go to the map and it would show the sunflowers on the map, and you could just like click on that sunflower and teleport there. I think that would be really nice, but at the same time, I'm kind of worried that teleports would ruin the integrity of like the interconnected map. Because Dark Souls 1, for example, you can teleport, but not until the end of the game. And the game is designed in a way that it's so interconnected that like you don't really need fast travel, but you know, maybe that would be beneficial for my game. Because one thing that's weird about my game is that all the weapons are disposable. You can like throw away the weapons and the spears and stuff, and they just break. So if you had fast travel, it'd be a nice way to like, you could fast travel back to this sunflower and go over here and get a new weapon and then teleport back to where you were. That would be kind of nice. But at the same time, that's very OP, and I don't know if that would improve the game. I'm on the fence about that. David says no teleports, please. Yeah, I'm like 50-50 at the moment. Have you ever tried to make transitions from one place to another on the game map? Try to make transitions from one place to another on the game map. If you're talking about teleports like fast travel, like I was just talking about, then yeah, like it's something I'm considering. Make it so you can only teleport to cities. So, in my case, the only real marker that you can teleport to is like the sunflowers, or maybe it could make an item that teleports you to one specific place. Where did you learn about game design the most? Just through practice. I mean, so the design aspect of games is... Geez, sorry, my music is really loud on my end, but I think it's fine on yours. So, like, no one really taught me game design. It was just a matter of making lots of games and... Oh, also playing lots of games. Especially when I was in college, I treated playing almost like a job. It was very silly, but I played a lot of games, and I got a lot of experience from that, I guess. I wouldn't consider playing games experience. It's all about making games. So in terms of game design, it's just practicing a ton. And that's my answer to a lot of those questions. But like over time, you start to figure out what aspects of games you like and which aspects of games you find annoying. And actually, for me, I'm highly critical of a lot of things. Like when I play games, I have a tendency to be really critical and really mean. Not mean, but like I nitpick, and that's just my criticism. I'm really critical, and I like to think of ways to improve it. And I do that with my own game too. Like when I'm playing through this game, I'm constantly like nitpicking at little things, and that helps me make the small improvements to making the game better. And I think that's kind of the answer to your question about game design, is that you just start to pick on those little cues and those little things that make the game better. Cloud taxi, that's a cool idea. Or maybe you can put in a boat for teleportation. Yeah, something like that would be okay. When are you going to put in the next devlog? I know, it's so late. what I'm thinking about doing right now is putting out a video on New Year's Day that's just talking about what's been taking so long, because it really has been taking a while. And I'm also on the fence about I might be kind of moving the video content in a different direction, because I've been enjoying these streams so much, and I actually think I'm doing pretty good about like stream of consciousness, just talking about what I want to talk about. And I think that I'll be able to start producing content that's kind of more like that. Because, and the other thing is, when I look at the type of videos that I myself watch, it's mostly like streamer content. It's mostly just people talking about whatever issue is on their mind. And I think it would be fun for me to kind of do the same thing. I think I can pull it off. So we'll see. I'm just going to be experimenting with different types of videos. Can you make it so that NPCs are doing something instead of just staring at us, like the blacksmith making a weapon? That would make a lot more sense. If the blacksmith was like hammering an anvil or like sharpening a blade or something like that. You just learned how to play Jingle Bells on your guitar? Awesome, nice. That's an awesome first step. Dude, I remember when I picked up guitar for the first time, it was just so challenging, because what I wanted to do is, what happened is I watched a YouTube cover of someone playing American Pie on their guitar, and I'm like, that's so cool. I want to learn how to play American Pie on guitar. And so I bought a guitar and I just started like playing it. And it was so hard at first because, you know, just playing chords when you don't know how to play guitar is really difficult. But pushing through is what I was like, that's what made it work in the end. Can you tell me the name of BGM, please? That previous song was, what was it? That was New Donk City from Super Mario Odyssey. I really should put the, there's a bot I can do, but the problem is it's not able to post it to 2 places at once. I'm having a lot of problems with the bot with the music ID. I used to be able to have it like would post the chat message to the chat and tell you what song it was. And I think I should try and get that working again. I might have to contact like the people who made the bot. When are you planning to upload the next demo? I was so adamant about getting it out by the end of the year, but here we are at the end of the year, and I still don't think I'll be able to post it by the 31st. We're in the process of testing. I'm going to be able to have a test build for some of the people that are helping with testing by the end of the year, but there's still some work to go. At the moment, my new answer is going to be like middle of January. But I keep making false promises, and that really sucks. It bothers me when people like set deadlines and they keep missing it. And I'm doing the same thing right now. It's really annoying. I'm sorry about that. It's just I keep running into issues, and like I said, I got sick this month. Or I didn't say that yet. I got sick this month, and I was out for well over a week. It was nuts. How do you get testers? Just on Discord. So I have a Discord server. There's a link in the description if you want to join. And that's the first place I post any like testing opportunities or new builds or anything like that. So if that's something you're interested in, the Discord is the place to be. Hi, I just want to say I love your devlog so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. How do you pay your testers? So there's one tester that is very active in like tracking bugs and verifying things and like that sort of stuff. So I pay them, and that's just I don't know, I just pay that one person, and everyone else is volunteer through the Discord. And that's just like people are playing the game and they report bugs, because there's a bugs channel on the Discord where people can just do bug reports, and that's the main thing is that testers do is just bug reporting. And can I apply for tester? There's no application necessary. If you just go to the Discord server, bug reports or suggestions, and that's where that stuff gets tracked. Is Chalcade a variant of Chill Arcade? That's funny. It's actually the other way around, where I came up with the name Chalcade first, and then I'm like, Chill Arcade sounds funny. It sounds like Chalcade, because it's Chalcade's Chill Arcade. And yeah, it's just meant to be like a silly sound to it. Kyle, how do you know the size, or how do you know how to size the demo properly without revealing too much? Well, at the moment, I am revealing everything in the demo. The demo does not cut off at all. It's just all the content at the moment. But That's something I'm thinking about a lot, is if the game is going to be behind a paywall, the demo needs to stop at some point. And the question is, where does the demo stop? Because I want the demo to be like fully rewarding and complete, but it can't show too much stuff, otherwise people won't be incentivized to play the game or buy the game. I've been sub for a day or two, but great to see that you stream. I'm currently in the process of working on my own video game to work on. Awesome. That's really cool. And yeah, the streaming for me is still kind of new. I've been doing it for a few months, or actually, I guess it's been longer than that. Maybe like half a year now. And it's been going well. I really enjoy it a lot. In fact, I was talking about how I think I'm going to start kind of working this streaming sort of setup into my main content, because I'm able to speak pretty well unscripted, and I thought for a long time that I wouldn't be able to do that, because I thought that I really needed a script in order to sound good and talk properly, because I have a problem with stuttering. But I've noticed that in the past few streams, especially last stream and this one, I haven't been stuttering very much at all. So I think that I've improved on that quite a bit, which is nice. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to start streaming as well, because I had such a problem with stuttering, and I knew that with streaming, that would make me be very conscious of what I'm saying. And the next thing I need to work on is stop saying and I'm noticing myself saying a lot this stream. The advice that I've heard is, instead of saying or you're just supposed to say nothing. Just replace it with silence, and it makes you sound smarter. It's true. Defected, welcome in. How long have you been doing pixel art for? Oh, since I was a kid. So when I was a kid, I had Game Maker, and that just has a built-in sprite editor, and I did a lot of pixel art through that. This is developed in Love2E engine. Yeah, Balatro, exactly. I'm so glad Balatro exists, because it gives me a good example to point to as a highly successful game that was made in this same game engine that I'm using. It's unusual. If Balatro can make it, Moonshire can make it on Game of the Year for real. Yeah, I would love that. That'd be awesome. Do you plan to encode the save file or just leave it open? I think I'm going to leave the save file open because I think it's fun to be able to go in and edit things. You can change like your health value, you can change how much money you have or which maps you have open, which dyes you have unlocked. So I think it's fun being able to edit that manually if people want to. Not sure if it's too much to ask, but once you got done working on the concept, did you just start coding? And if you did, where did you start? So as far as the concept goes, the way this game evolved was very unusual, because it started off as just being a Zelda fan game, and from there it just changed into my own thing. So it was a little bit different than most projects, I'd say, in that regard, because it started as a fan game, and then I'm like, okay, I want to make this into my own thing now, and I just started changing one piece at a time until it was entirely unique. Lua is Brazilian language, right? Yes, I believe so. It's originally from Brazil, but my nervous self said automatically. Yeah, that's the thing, is that it's just so automatic for people to do, including myself. What is your opinion about LDTK? LDTK. Let me look that up. LDTK. Oh, yeah, we talked about this one. I haven't used it extensively, but I downloaded it. In fact, I think I have it. LDTK. Yeah, I do. So let's check out this project. So this is a different map editor that someone mentioned. Past, welcome in. Kirkai, welcome. Is that fog effect, is it a shader? No, actually, the fog effect is really simple. It's a big image, like a big transparent image of the fog, and I have it programmatically moving across the screen, and once it reaches like an end point, it loops back around on itself. Lua means moon in Portuguese. Yeah, that was part of the inspiration for Moonshire, and this character's name is Lua, so there's a lot of inspiration. Is that Cave Story? So this this song is from RuneScape, actually, but there are a bunch of Cave Story songs in my playlist. Is your game cross-platform? Yeah, at the moment it is on Windows and on Mac. Specifically, Apple Silicon Macs. There's a problem with Intel Macs at the moment that I still need to post an update for. How did you make the background particles? Oh, so the particles are just very small images. Let me pull them up. Sorry, I'm a little stuffy still. So the problem is I need to be able to find this dumb... Where would this be? Pedal, I found it. Oh, don't look at that. That's a new character. Spoiler. What? Why can't I close this? What's going on? That's weird. But anyway, this is the pedal. It's just a really small pixel art pedal. Character leak. Oh, I know. That's okay. That's basically what the character looks like, but I'm not going to show it again. I wanted to ask, does a top-down Metroidvania make an impact on... Or, sorry. Does a top-down Metroidvania make an impact like the side-scrollers? Because I was thinking of making one. I mean... the Metroidvania aspect of Zelda games is very simple. Is that it's just an open, contained world, and certain paths open up with different items you get. And I don't think it makes a difference. Like an example would be Batman: Arkham Asylum. Some people call that a Metroidvania, even though that's definitely not like a platformer. It's just like an action game. Yeah, we got Moonshire sneak peek before GTA 6. Yeah, I know. Man, I'm sorry, I'm so stuffy. It's affecting my voice. Man, I'm really stuffed up. Isn't Metroidvania just 2D open world? Basically, I mean, Metroidvania tends to mean like a platformer, a 2D platformer. Like, let's think of some examples. Like Castlevania Symphony of the Night, or the Metroid games, or Guacamelee, or I don't know. I'm sure there's plenty of them. Kyle, what length and hours are you aiming for? Actually, recently, I'm aiming for like just like 3. Oh, Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight's one of my favorite games. I can't believe I didn't think of that. Length of game. So when I went into this, I'm like, oh, I want this game to be so big, so much content. Anyone can play it for hours and hours and hours, endless gameplay, procedural stuff. Like, people could play this game for 50 hours and not get bored. So that was my mentality going into this. And now it's changed to where it's like, I just want to make a game that's really, really good. And even if it's short, that's okay. That's okay if it's short. I still think that a few hours of really solid, good gameplay is worth a few bucks. And that's why I'm really, really focused on super concise, super good. My friend really loves Hollow Knight. He even made his own Metroidvania. Nice. I have a lot of... if I had the energy to get up and go to my room, I could pull out all my Hollow Knight swag, because I got like a plushie and a poster, and I got the vinyl set of the soundtrack, so I'm a pretty big Hollow Knight fan, you could say. Do you still work as a software developer? Not at the moment, or actually, I shouldn't say not at the moment. Not anymore. I'm just done with software career at the moment, or for now. I keep saying at the moment, but it's not at the moment. It's a permanent thing. I think I'm done working in software, so I'm back to just doing this full time, which is cool. You made the entire assets for this game? No, not at all. So I made like the main character, I made the sword, I made some of the little simple assets. I made a lot of these items, but the more complicated sprites, especially the environments, the environments are mostly from open source or paid asset packs. And then I edit them to match my style and match my color scheme and match my shading and things like that. There's a lot that goes into adjusting other people's assets for my game, but in the end, it still does originally come from a sprite sheet. Like, you'll be able to find this house here, or the tiles for this house at least, on itch.io. Most of my stuff comes from itch.io. But there's still plenty of unique sprites, because I also pay the sprite artist. Like this character here was made by Ellie, and there's a lot like some of this UI stuff was made by Ellie. This gate here was a group effort where I designed the shape, and then Ellie added a bunch of detail to make it mesh with the wall better, and then Tony made like the lock and the design on it and the bars. So it's a group effort on this sprite here. So it's a mixture of a whole bunch of different things. It's cool that the sprite for Lua is like that, so you only need 2 sprites for 8 directions. Yes, that was a very, very big step in the game, because it didn't used to be like that. It used to be just like the cardinal directions. So you'd have 4 different directions, or I should say 3, because the left and rights just flip normally. And this setup, it's just better for omnidirectional attacking, because that was my main thing too, is with cardinal directions, you can only really attack down, left, up, and right. And with my game, you can attack in literally any direction. And I think that the sprite layout helps a lot with making that work. How integral calculator in Lua? An integral calculator? Are you talking about like calculus with integrals? That's interesting. What's inside the door? Is there a door? Oh, that's a secret. That's a secret no one has to know about. By the way, guys, do you remember what Tamagotchi? Do you remember Tamagotchis? Check this out. I got a Tamagotchi for Christmas. Sick. It's so awesome. It's so nostalgic. But it's been crying. I have to keep like stop what I'm doing, and feed it and take care of it. It's kind of fun. This is the last MOONSHIRE Monday of 2024. Yeah, it is. And in fact, in 2025, I'm going to start streaming at 11 a.m. CT as opposed to 9 a.m. So 2 hours later. 2 hours later than now is what I'm planning to do streaming for. Because today, man, I really wish I could have slept in. I was a sleepy boy. W Grifter, yeah, basically. He did fully evolve. He's an adult. It's an adult Tamagotchi now. It just evolved like right before stream. Okay, the title of the stream is level design, and I haven't done any level design yet. So let's go ahead and start doing that. Let's put in some grass particles. That's what this game needs. This game needs more grass. I'd say most games need more grass. And if this process looks stupid, where I'm manually placing grass particles down, you're right. It is stupid. Pass. Just chatting. Yeah, I know, basically. I really should change the title of it, or the category. No, I shouldn't change the category. What I really need to do is do this level design stuff while I'm just chatting. I need to be able to, what is it? Multitask. Sorry we ask a lot of questions. But that's the thing is, I like that people ask questions, and I like answering questions. That's my favorite thing to do. It's just so easy for me to do. I love talking about this stuff because I'm so passionate about it, and it's all that I do. So when people ask me questions about this stuff, it is so fun for me just to talk about it endlessly. And that's both good and bad, I guess. Okay, we're gonna start putting down. This one's called Sprout. So all I'm doing, by the way, is if you look in the game, there's all these grass particles that you can like walk into, and I have to manually place them down because I like them being put in smart places that align with the tiles. It's not randomized. It's just nicely designed. Oh, so what is my favorite color? My favorite color is red. Or like, especially slightly darker than bright red. So burgundy or something like that. My car is a maroon color. And that's part of why I got it. Does Love 2D require a good PC? Not at all. It does not require a good PC. if you're interested in game development, a game framework like Love 2D is probably one of the better choices because it's not going to be very intense at all. Are these objects for decorations? Yeah, it's strictly decorative. Nothing else. Nothing else to it. So this one is a little dandelion flower. Let's put that here. No, let's put that here. What level design software is that? This is called Tiled. And the nice thing about Tiled is that it's free. So you can just like download this and play with it. Oh yeah, we were looking at LDTK earlier. I don't know much about this. Whoa, jeez, what the heck happened? Oh, it just like zooms in and out like crazy. Yeah, so I've heard good things about this because you can connect different maps together with other maps, and that's really cool. That would be nice. Can you make a 2D platformer in Love 2D? Yes, I did actually make one. If you go to my itch.io page, there's the bird game, and that's a platformer game. So how do you manage them to be pixel perfect if you don't? They're not pixel perfect. My game is not pixel perfect. So that's the answer to your question. Is that it's all just fake. Let's get a rose purple here. Actually, you know, before I put these down, I really I'm gonna redo this. Before I put this stuff down, I need to put down the ground textures because I forgot to do that. That's more important. Yo, I'm thinking about buying a Raspberry Pi and porting my Love 2D game to it. That's awesome. That'd be so cool. Defected, I'm out. Thank you for being here, Defected, and thanks for the hydration reminder. I really need that. Pixel perfection is hard. Yeah, it is hard, and also, in my opinion, and this is a controversial opinion too, by the way, I don't think it's necessary, and I also don't think it looks good. Pixel perfection is a limitation from back in the day where everything had to be on a pixel grid, and this game does not need that. If the player was moving to pixel perfection, that would mean that the player would not be able to move to like 1.5 pixels. It wouldn't be able to, it would look a lot more choppy because it can't do sub-pixel movement. And right now there's lots of sub-pixel movement. Also, sprite rotation, look at the sword. The sword is rotated. The pixels are rotated. You can't rotate pixels with pixel perfection. So that's the other thing, is if I wanted pixel perfection, I wouldn't be able to rotate any sprites, because sprites don't rotate. How about this? What if I was holding this greatsword? Look at the greatsword. The greatsword is rotated. It's at an angle. Pixels don't do this. Look at the tip of the sword. Pixels don't do this. So, in my opinion, pixel perfection is an unnecessary limitation. But it is still good to use that as a baseline. It's a nice thing to for if you can. Because it does look more cohesive when you have pixel perfection. But I did not want to limit myself with that just because I wouldn't be able to do effects like this if there was pixel perfection. I don't think there's any pixel art game that does this because of that. So that's something a little unique about mine, I guess. Good to know. Thanks for the info. Yeah. Does Love 2D take any programming? Yeah. So there's the whole thing is programming. In fact, the thing about a game framework is that there's no interface. You do all of the development through coding. So it's not like a game engine like Unity or Game Maker where you drag and drop stuff. It is all coded, and it is a little bit complex at first. The learning curve with Love 2D is probably higher than something like Godot or Unity. Baconism, welcome in. But in the end, you're gonna have to code in pretty much all of them. You could say that like Game Maker isn't coding because it's drag and drop, but the truth is it is coding because it's the same logic. Is there any aspect of programming you're trying to learn right now, or are you just chilling? So there, right now in my personal life, I am trying to learn multiplayer coding because that is something I have never done before, and I'm thinking about it conceptually. I know how to do it, but as I'm working on it, I know that there are going to be a lot of quirks and a lot of bugs that I'm going to need to overcome, and it's taking a lot of work to learn. Love 2D takes time to learn. My game still crashed. Love 2D takes time to learn. It's definitely true. I wouldn't say it's an easy framework, or I'd say it's an easy framework, but all frameworks are harder to use than an engine. Nah, man, Love 2D is easier than Godot, in your opinion? I mean, I personally haven't used Godot, so I don't really know. But an engine has a lot more features than a framework, and I think that for that alone, it's enough to make it easier. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I started those grasses, but I removed them because I need to put in these first. Man, this is so annoying. I'm gonna manually place them. Past that I never touched Game Maker drag and drop. Written code is more appealing to me. Yeah, it's gonna be different for everyone. Yeah, same for me. I think written code is easier for me to comprehend, but I also have a lot of experience with it. Man, I'm sorry, I'm still so stuffy. Okay. So what I'm doing now is I'm just placing in these little accent textures, and then I'm gonna put the grass particles around them. When will the next update for the demo be? I'm hoping the middle of January. I know I keep pushing off the deadline, but I got sick this month, and that really screwed me up. Whoops, I need to get rid of this. I actually found Love 2D a little easier than Unity, but maybe that's because I made games in Solar 2D for many years. The flipping back and forth between game editor and code I found challenging. Oh, that actually does make sense. That is one nice thing about Love 2D is that pretty much everything takes place in here. And the other thing that's easier about this is that since I manually make everything, I have a familiarity with everything. So bug fixing is a lot easier for me because I know where everything's at. I know how all the code works, and there's no obfuscation. Or there's obfuscation, but it's obfuscation that I made myself. So it works out. This is so fun. It's like decorating a Christmas tree. Yeah, I like that analogy, but for me, it is so tedious. Like, I wish I could just... I don't know. I don't know what I wish, but this part I don't really enjoy. The other reason why I don't enjoy this is because, like, I know that eventually I'm probably gonna have to change this again. Oh, whoops. It's kind of sad not to have an app with options similar to Tiled on cell phones. I had to give up a lot of things because I couldn't make maps more directly. Oh, are you saying that you wanted to design your maps on phones? That'd be interesting. Echo, hi, welcome in. I'm just putting in little things just to make it a little bit more textured. Whoops. Let's put this one. I think there's Tile on phone, but it's really old. That's interesting. Unpopular opinion, designing UI is the worst part of developing games. I wouldn't say that's an unpopular opinion. I think a lot of people would agree with you. It is a lot of work to make the UI, And it's not very fun either, you know, because when you're designing levels, you're designing gameplay, and that's what a lot of people care about. But with UI is just there to facilitate gameplay. It's not the actual gameplay. So when you're working on stuff like the menus here, which I spend a ridiculous amount of time working on this UI, all of this UI stuff is custom coded by me. There's no library here, and it is nightmarish. I would say nightmarish is a very good word to describe this. Like, this is the code for the UI. Is this file here? Is this 2,700 line file? And that's not even all of it, because there's this one here. This one's for the pause menu specifically, and this one is 700. There's one for buttons, and this one is an additional 500. So that gives you an idea of how much work I've put into this dumb UI. Is all these files is so much. And I told me I remember. Hello, Jellicade. Yes, welcome. Thank you, Reen. How did you make your channel logo, or how did you come up with the character idea? So the logo was designed by an artist. His name is V, but he's not commissioning right now. And how did I come up with the character? So I designed the pixel art character first. So I had already made this character here, and I was using him like in the game and in my videos and stuff. So that's when I commissioned V to make the profile picture. I can only imagine. Yeah, I know. Have you thought about using procedural gen to make a base for the level and then go back and customize it? That's an interesting idea. But the thing is, I don't think I need that, just because with me putting so much time into designing the levels, I'm making my own smart improvements each iteration, and I don't think that the procedural generation aspect of it would improve things for me personally. But I can see that being a really good process for a lot of people. It also says, Kyle, what platforms are you aiming for at launch? At launch, it'll be Windows, Mac, and Linux. And after that, I am really thinking about putting it on mobile. I know a lot of people have asked me about mobile, and I've always said no, but I think I'm going to do it. I think that I'll be able to do it. I've done it before with like Necrozone. So I think that I can make it work. And the thing about this game is that the resolution works like at any size, at any shape. So like I could turn it into cell phone shape like this, and like people could play the game on their phones vertically, and that'd be so awesome. When is your game launching? Maybe in like a year. Circus says the Zoomers will only do mobile. You know, you're not wrong about that. Especially when I used to be big on TikTok. You know, I still have the account and I still post there once in a while. But when I was really active, the #1 like request was mobile. The #1 comment, everyone was asking, can I play it on mobile? And I always had to say no. But I think that it would be better if I could just put it on mobile and people could play it. I'm partially kidding, but not really. I know what you mean. It's a half truth. It's a half joke, because you know there's definitely some truth to it. Maybe just make it landscape. I mean, yeah, sure, I could make it landscape, and in fact, I'll probably make it both. There's no reason to limit it, because I have a very flexible game that works at any resolution, any size, which is nice. You can make the Megalua GUI lib after this. Well, I could, but the problem is my code is horrible. My UI code is probably the most unclean and worst code in the entire project, because it's all like manually hard coded. Like, look at all this gem choice confirm. This isn't even in the game anymore. Oh wait, no, it is. It is. This one is. Yeah, these two are. But I'm thinking of. I bet there's jewelry. I guess that's not a problem, but we'll keep that. Anyway, that's not. I couldn't come up with an example, but there's a bunch of wasted code in this file, and making it into a lib wouldn't. I don't think it would be good for people. An Android license is like 25 gigabytes per. Wait. Oh, in USD. Yeah. So I already have the Android license, by the way, because I have a game that was on Android Marketplace, or sorry, it's not called that. It's Google Play. Hi Kyle, just starting with game dev. Whoa, my phone. What the heck? So you know the thing where it like your phone starts listening to you? It must have heard me say Gemini or something, because it started listening to me. That's strange. That freaked me out. Starting game dev as a CS major, programming is not the toughest part for me, but the art and creative part annoys me. Any tips? Oh, I know. I feel you there, because I'm also a CS guy, and art is the part I struggle with the most. And my tip for you is to utilize assets from like itch.io or OpenGameArt. So if you Google itch.io pixel art assets, you'll come up with this page here. I highly recommend, if you're, especially if you're like a solo developer or you're a little new to art, I highly recommend either buying or finding one of the free ones of these asset packs. Yeah, like the Brackeys one. That's a great idea. Use these as a starting point. I'm not saying to make your whole game using other people's like paid sprites. That's not what I'm suggesting. But I am suggesting to design your levels like these sprites. A lot of these do come from paid asset packs. And if I would have had to spend time making all these sprites from scratch, it would have taken much longer, and also it wouldn't look as good because I'm not as good of an artist. So and that's a hard thing for some people to get over, is that using other people's sprites that are pre-made, it kind of feels like a breach of integrity, doesn't it? It feels like, is this truly my game if I'm using other people's stuff to facilitate the development? And my answer is yeah, it totally is still. Because the alternative is like I hire a team, like a few people, and I pay them to develop sprites, and those end sprites look about as good as these do. So what's the difference? I'm still paying an artist who already, like Game Endeavor. I could buy this asset pack and pay Game Endeavor a few bucks to be able to use these sprites, and in the end, he gets paid, and I have assets that look good in my game. That's not that much different from having a staff pixel artist like on the team. That really isn't that much different. By the way, Game Endeavor, I think, has the best pixel consistency of any top-down like actions, and watch any of his content. I think his pixel consistency is top-notch. It's so consistent. And I don't mean to criticize, but it would look different. I'm not saying this is a criticism. My game doesn't have pixel consistency, but I think at times it looks smoother because, like the dust, for example, look at the dust at the player's feet. Mine scales in size, it has transparency, and it has rotation, while Game Endeavor's doesn't have that stuff. His dust particles, it's just like shrinking and there's no transparency, which is fine. That makes it pixel consistent. But personally, in my personal opinion, I think that the way I'm doing it with no pixel consistency, with scaling pixels, rotating pixels, transparent pixels, I think it looks a little bit better. But everyone's gonna have their own take on that. That's part of the problem. And by the way, check out Game Endeavor's YouTube channel. It's very good. Circus says 100% I feel that way. Yeah. Touch button UI. Yeah, I mean, like the nice thing about mobile development is that when you port a PC game to mobile, it tends to automatically pick up that mouse click is a button press. So that part is already taken care of. Is Moonshire Steam Deck compatible? Yes, I do most of my testing, or I shouldn't say I do most of my testing. When I play the game myself, I play it on Steam Deck because I have a Steam Deck. I have the latest like OLED version, and it's awesome. I love the Steam Deck. So good. Do you have a UI library you like best? Nope, I don't use a UI library. I do it all from scratch myself, and it is a pain in the butt. Big old pain in the butt. Maybe add a pixel perfect view to see that it is better or not. See, I don't even think I need to. Like that's how confident I am about it. Great investment. Yeah, it just depends. And because this style has a visual appeal that's different from my game. Kyle, are you going to localize your game into other languages? Yes. And in fact, I've already started that process. I shouldn't say I've started that process, but I set up the fundamentals. I set up the skeleton for it, I should say. So, for example, every single string, every single piece of text in the game comes from a file like this, where you have the string right here, for example. Or actually, a better one would be dialogue. Whoops. So this file, for example, this has all of the dialogue in the game. And it's all assigned to like variables here. But this file is specifically for the English version. There's another version for French. And it's the same idea. It's just all these it's the exact same variables, except the strings are in French. And currently in my game, when it displays any piece of text, it doesn't just grab the string, it goes into the appropriate translation file and grabs the string from here. So that's how it translates any particular piece of dialogue or text on screen, is the files themselves, or the code files themselves don't have the text, they just have the variables, and then it pulls the value for those variables from these translation files. So like this French file is very short, I only have it for testing, but it's the same idea. I'm talking the Steam Deck. Oh yeah, totally. I love the Steam Deck. If you set up JSON, you could use Crowden. Is it Crowden? Crowden translation. Localize.com. Localize.js. Discover the best translation software. Oh, is this like AI translation? I bet it is. I'm trying to understand what this actually does. Prosto, hi, welcome. Are you considering translating it to other languages like Portuguese, Chinese? Yeah, I would be happy to translate it to basically any language. The problem is, it is time consuming and expensive to translate to any particular language. And also, if I add more content to the game after that point, every string needs to be translated again. And that's a lot of difficulty. Doing translation, we're talking about what options there are. Oh, it's community-based. People can translate and you can verify it and easily install the JSON files. That is very cool. That's very awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna favorite this, and I'll take a look at it. That's interesting. That's a cool idea. Whoops, I don't want to close that. One sec, I'm getting reset up. Okay. Localization mods. Yeah, I bet that would be something I could add support for. Because having official languages is something that needs like verification. I'll need someone to edit it and make sure that the translation didn't get screwed up at any point. And aside from that, though, if there's any unsupported languages, there could totally be mod support. That's totally fine. I just finished the Byte Path tutorial. Love2D seems better to me compared to the other engines. I think I have more control using code only. Now I have all I need to make my own game using Love2D. Awesome. Yeah, so I feel the same way. Is having full control of the code is a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because you have control of everything. There's no obfuscation. You know how everything works. You do everything yourself. So when there's a bug, you can fix it very fast. I genuinely, like personally, fixing bugs in this game is easier than anything else I've worked with. It is so easy and fast, but that's just because I made it all myself. If I worked with a team, that would make it a little less easy. And if I worked with an engine, it would make it a little less easy as well. Because an engine obfuscates, it makes it does a lot of things for you, is what I'm saying. And that aspect makes bug fixing a little bit more difficult. But also, since it does things for you, that means that you can get things done faster, just because like things happen faster. Whoops. So how does the game adapt to different screen sizes, since I would love to know? Let's see. So how does it adapt? Well, it's all about the scale. So if we look at the window here, check out how far up the screen I'm able to look. We can see like a little bit of these logs here. We can see a little bit of the kiln. But if I make the screen bigger, it's still the same. We can still only see the logs and a little bit of the kiln. And if I shrink the game down even more, or even if I make it taller like this, it's still only showing that same stuff, just a little bit of the logs and a little bit of the kiln up here. And that's my secret for the scaling, is that the the vertical ratio is always the same. It's the horizontal ratio that adjusts. That's the kind of trick that I use with making this work, because something needs to be consistent between the screen sizes. It's nice that if I shrink this down to be tiny, even in this really weird resolution here, it's still only showing the same amount of vertical content as it was showing before. And that consistency is one of the big tricks to making that work, I guess. Also, Chalky, the best part about Crowdin is it's 100% free and it has a surprisingly large community. A dev I know put his game on there and someone translated it all to Ukrainian. I mean, that's awesome. The only caveat though is I would need someone to edit and verify that Ukrainian translation, because as cool as it is to receive free work, stuff that you receive for free has a tendency to not be high quality, because people like to be paid for their work if they are skilled. So I would still need someone that is skilled in Ukrainian language to read and properly fix any problems that come up in the translation. But using something like that to get the first batch or the first draft sounds awesome, because that would save you a ton of time with the initial like mundane stuff. Because even like Google Translate can translate really simple sentences perfectly. It's the nuances or the little phrases. I talked about this before in a long time ago, actually, so I'll talk about it again. Blood. Dang it, I got rid of it. So there was a line where in English I said the character was going to say, "And we're out for blood." And in English, when you say "we're out for blood," that just means like we're gonna go kill this thing. We're gonna go kill this monster. We're out for blood. But when I asked Wolf to translate it to French, she thought that "out for blood" didn't sound right in French. That wasn't a saying that they would use. So she changed it to something like "their blood will spill," or like the phrasing of it was a little bit different. It wasn't a one-to-one translation, because every language has their own idioms, is the word I was looking for. It's an idiom. Like, it's raining cats and dogs. That's something that English people would say to describe how heavy it's raining. It's raining cats and dogs. But if you translate that to, like, I don't know, German, I don't think that they say it's raining cats and dogs over there. Or I doubt every language says that. And if I just took the, like, one-to-one translation and gave it to some other language, it's possible that it would say weird stuff like that, just because the idioms that we use in English are not the same as the idioms that we use in other languages. I've worked with Portuguese, English, French in ChatGPT, and its translations are very good. But yeah, that's the thing is like I bet it is really good because it's something that they work on constantly. And one thing that I think is really cool with ChatGPT is that it can do like live translations where you just like put your phone on the counter and you just start talking, and then it'll translate whatever you say to whatever other language and say it out loud. It's amazing. It's amazing that like we're in this age where translation and language barriers aren't that much of an issue. At the same time though, phrasing and perfection is very important because I've definitely played like a Japanese game with a bad English translation, and it doesn't it kind of it spoils it a little bit. It doesn't make it very good. Like I remember playing Final Fantasy VII, and some of the characters would say the weirdest things, and that's funny, but it does kind of ruin the immersion a little bit when characters say weird stuff that doesn't sound right, and it's strictly because the translation's not very good. And ChatGPT just got a new update. It can search the web. I told it about Echo the Developer. It found you. Yeah, that's cool. I remember Pippa did that with me where he looked up Chalacade, and that was a long time ago. Break a leg, it's funny in Spanish. Yeah, that sounds funny. Hello, I'm new to Love to D and wanted to know if I can make big games like Terraria or Stardew in it. Yeah, there's absolutely nothing stopping you. I think every engine is capable of making something big like that. It's just, it's a very, very big, long process to make a game that big. I've been working on this game here for like 4 years, maybe even more, depending on how you measure when it started. But 4 years, and it's still at this point where there's just still so much to do. A raid by Smalls the Kobold. Thank you so much for being here again. Thank you for the raid. Man, I appreciate that so much. Kobold, welcome in. I hope your stream went well. Thank you for being here. I'm just working on, or actually, I was going to say I was working on level design, but really I'm just answering questions and chatting. Hey, welcome. Would you consider ECS pattern you were starting from scratch today? Entity component system. So yeah, I mean, in general, I think that just state machines in general for your coding and like AI and things like that, it's entity component systems, that's very specific. I never actually heard of that before someone mentioned that last stream. I just have different states that the enemies or NPCs or player or objects, everything has its own state, and each of those states have different like actions or what they do, or different loops or update functions or reactions to certain things. It all depends on just like what state the object is in, and that influences that. I use Turbo Warp to make my games and projects. Interesting. I've never actually heard of Turbo Warp. Can you apply to a YouTube partner program already? I would gladly become a member of your channel. I will consider that. Maybe in the new year, because in the new year I'm going to be treating the channel a lot more seriously, where I'm going to be posting content more regularly. And same with Twitch. I'm trying to grow on both. So again, Kobold, thank you so much for being here in the raid, because that means a lot to me. Chalcade also at 100k subs, silver play button. I'm so excited for that. That's gonna be so awesome. Yeah, Bass says, hey readers. Thank you all for being here. I really do appreciate that. So the title of the stream is that I'm level designing, so I might as well go back to doing that. I really should. So at the moment, I'm just like placing down these little textures. Like this. It's really simple and easy, but that it needs to be done. Oops, I don't want to put that one there. And what I'm doing right now is actually, I have all of the texture pieces that I want to use highlighted, and then I have the random button clicked. So when they're all selected like this, it's going to randomly choose one of the tiles that I have highlighted, and that makes me able to like place them in like this, where it's randomly placing in one of the many options, which is nice because having variety is really important. But having it fit the shape is also important too, and that's kind of difficult. TK40K, welcome in. You've been talking a lot. Can you hydrate? Yes, thank you. Appreciate that. And Turbo Warp is a modified version of Scratch. You can do 3D in this Scratch-like thing. That's really cool. That's really awesome. I'm glad that they're expanding on stuff like that. That sounds neat. It's weird without Allfather being here. I don't know. He might show up. I think that he shows up to most of the streams eventually. Yeah, you can do crazy stuff with Scratch. That's surprising, but very cool. That's why I always say that, like, when people are choosing a game engine and they ask which one you should use, really, in general, they all can do good stuff. You can't really go wrong. If something like Scratch can make a 3D game, well, then certainly you can use whatever you want then. And same with, like, I would get flack for using Love2D even, but now I can say, well, Balatro was made with Love2D. Would you tell him that that was a waste of time to use Love2D? Probably not, because it almost won Game of the Year as an indie game. That is still so surprising and still so cool. I'm very happy that Balatro exists. I was, like, a part of me was hoping that my game would be like the big Love2D game to come out, but Balatro is way big. It's so good. I really love Balatro. I come back to Scratch from time to time to visualize my algorithms quickly. Yeah, that's so cool. It sounds perfect for prototyping. And when I was moving from Game Maker to Love2D, it was the same with me, where I would be able to conceptualize stuff in Game Maker really fast, because it's kind of built for that almost. Prosto, welcome. Or Serious Sloth. Actually, I think Prosto was already here. iRaiders. I'm so happy I got a raid. That's so exciting. I'm still new to streaming on Twitch, so a raid feels very cool and very new and fresh. TK4TK, I messed with Tiled and getting some tile sets. Super cool. Literally just do it. Yeah, totally. The cool thing about game dev is that it's entirely free. Like, you can just download this stuff and start doing it. You can just look up a YouTube video on how to do it, and it'll show you how to do it, and then you can do it. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool that there's no barrier to entry at all. Have you heard of BGFX Graphics Lib? I found out about it yesterday and it's amazing. BGFX Graphics. BGFX rendering library. I bet I would be able to integrate this into Love2D. Oh, it does have, yeah. It has API bindings for Lua. Cool. Well, what does it actually do? Does it have examples? Whoa, look at this thing. Whoa. You don't like raids? Oh man, I love raids. I love raids so much. I could watch this little blob float around all day. What the heck is this thing? It's a little bunny. By the way, let me know if the music is too loud or too quiet. Every song is different. I think I need to turn this one up. Yeah, okay, so for anyone who missed it, this is called BGFX. Someone in chat mentioned it. But yeah, it looks cool. Let me get back to putting down these little particles. The music is perfect. I love Mother 3. I love Mother. I love those games. Yeah, it's like you're sitting, doing your stuff, get a single viewer, then it becomes 21. That's very exciting. Okay, I think this is in decent shape. I'll put this... there. Can't decide what I want to put here. Oh, I'm going to put this here. And not for me, so yeah, I understand. I get ya. So let's go this map. Oh wait, no, I'm not done yet. I need to put in textures on the upper deck. I call them textures. It's not really a texture. Song name. This is Mom's Hometown from Mother 3. Yeah, I'm gonna turn the bot back on at some point. I just need to get it working for YouTube, because I had it work. It works good for Twitch, but I also want it to be available on both of them. So I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna have to contact like the actual developer, I think, because I genuinely cannot get it working. What do you think about graphics programmers? I mean, sure, OpenGL. So, like, I have shaders in my game that are made with GLSL, which is based off of OpenGL, I think. And it was worth the time for me to learn. But as far as, like, being a dedicated graphics programmer, I don't know anything about that. But learning graphics programming, it's never a bad thing. I'm in full support of that. Moonshire Monday and What Design said he will stream today. That's 2 amazing live streams. That's awesome. Starting in the new year, I'm going to start streaming at 11 a.m. CT, so 2 hours later than I have been. Oh, 15 more minutes. Okay, we got 15 more minutes of stream. I'm going to try and finish up this map at least. I think I can finish up more than that, actually. Moonshire Monday. I've been like brainstorming because I want to stream on another day too. Because right now I'm only doing once a week and I want to stream twice a week. But I don't know what I should call my stream on any other day or which day I should do. I think my ideal day would be Thursday. So if it was on Thursday, what would I name the stream? Moonshire Mursday? I don't want to name it that. For a few reasons. What resolution do I work at? I use 24 by 24 tile set and struggle to work at 600 by 40, or sorry, 640 by 360. I'm not exactly sure what you mean by work at, because a lot of the sprites are, or sorry, these tiles in this tile set is 16 by 16, but the sprites for like the characters, like this isn't 16 by 16. This guy is probably 22 by something, I don't know. So it's unusual sprite sizes. So the individual sprites are not confined to any resolution, but the tiles themselves are 16 by 16. So any tiles that I'm using in tiled here is going to be 16 by 16. Thalicade Thursday? Oh my god, that's so funny. That's the best one I've heard so far. Pixels per unit? So the other thing is that it changes because the size of the window, I have it scaling. I can make it look like this, or I could even make it look like this. And so it's not, I don't have a consistent like go-to size really. It's just it scales. There's no resolution that I'm keeping the game at because it works at any resolution. Hi, what game engine am I using? It's called Love 2D. Yeah, sorry, there's a bit of delay between when I can see messages and, or sorry, the latency. The latency on Twitch is actually not bad at all. I'm happy with that. No, I mean not monitor DPI. Why I choose Love 2D? I chose Love 2D because I tried out all of them, or because all of the game engines are free. If you're having trouble deciding, you should just download them and try it, because they're all free. And I tried out a bunch of them, and Love 2D was the one that I personally like the most. And that's always what I recommend for people, is to use the one that you like the most, because you're going to be the most likely odds of you completing a game is if you like the game engine that you're working with. Otherwise, it's just going to be a slog. And we don't want no slogs around here. I mean, if one tile is if a tile is 1 unit and it's 16 by 16, 2 units would be 32 pixels and so on. Not like small creature that is less than and suddenly has 64 by 64 sprite. I'm sorry, Prosto. I'm still not quite sure. I'm still not quite sure I understand what your question is. By the way, if you have a specific question, you can message me on Discord and we can chat about it. But yeah, at the moment, I'm not quite sure I understand what you're referring to. I'm sorry about that. Do I got a lot of wasted projects on different engines? I mean, I wouldn't call that wasted, because sure, I do too. I tried out Unity for a long time, and I don't use Unity at all. You could say that was wasted time, but at the same time, the skills you gain from one engine, they'll still transfer those skills to another engine. Like, sure, there's a lot of proprietary stuff. There's a lot of specific things you learn for Unity, but when you learn how to make a game in Unity, it's going to be a lot easier for you to learn how to make a game in Godot, because you are familiar with the general process. Even though, like, Godot is node-based while Unity isn't. I know that it's the same with Love 2D. Once you learn Love 2D, switching over to another framework is super easy because the fundamentals are really similar. I became a verified Nexus mods dev after 1 mod, and now I'm working with another modder to make a massive mod. Awesome, that's cool. TK4TK, what's your base sprite size? Oh, we're trying to figure out that question. What's your base sprite size versus environment tile size? If that's the question, then in tiled, so everything that we see in tiled, 100% of these sprites are 16 by 16. Every single tile that gets rendered through tiled is 16 by 16 without exception. Every single one. But if something is rendered not through tiled, if something is rendered just through my code or through the game or through anything, then there's no limitations, there's no consistency with the like canvas sizes or the sprite sizes. It's just whatever makes sense for that sprite. So there's no constraints there. I'm able to make my sprites for characters and objects and trees and decorations. Those sprites can be whatever size I want. I tend to stick to like multiples of 8 if I can, but there's plenty of sprites that are just like weird sizes, like 22 by 22, and like normally you wouldn't do that, but I have that. Like that's what it is. Sorry, I was taking call. No worries at all. I'm gonna go to this map over here, and let's start putting down textures here. Oh, actually no, I'm gonna change my mind. Let's put down the grass particles again. Animations usually have weird sizes. Yeah, especially that true, because the width of a sprite sheet, I keep all my sprite sheets like horizontal, and when you stack all of the frames together in like a really wide sprite sheet, it can get pretty wide and weird sized. Like, hero is small, but swing of attack requires like 3 times more space. Oh, that's a good question. So the answer to that question is that the sword and the slash are not a part of the player. They are not part of the player's animation at all. They are completely disconnected sprites. So if so you're talking about how when the player swings their sword, like, the player right here is a small little rectangle, but when you swing the sword, like, it's a lot more space. And the answer to that is just that the sword sprite and the slash effect is not part of the player's sprite sheet at all. It is completely disconnected. I'm just rendering the sword entirely separate from the player. And that's something that I had to get over at some point, because I think that when I was a kid, I remember trying to do a sword swing using Link to the Past assets, and those swords, I think, are connected to the sprite itself. But no, I think it's a lot better to not have the sword a part of the sprite sheet, because then you don't have to adjust the sprite sizes. Also, I told you we will get used to the new font. Yeah, maybe. I hope people do. I'm talking about like this font here. I know it's different, and I need to fix this so that it's less pixely too. If you know Lua GLSL, you theoretically know normal GLSL with a few differences. What I'm trying to get to is Moonshire's Minecraft shader win. Does Minecraft use GLSL as well? That's pretty funny. Yeah, I do think it's weird that the Love 2D version of GLSL is a little different. I don't think it's that different. I'm pretty sure it's basically the same with minor changes. But like you said, so that would be cool to apply that skill to something else. Yeah, someone mentioned partner program on YouTube. I think that I should do that so I can upload my my emotes. I would love to do that. You render layers of body parts? Yeah, I do. So I'll show that real quick. I love the Persona music. Over the winter break, me and my sister played through Persona 3 Reload, and we had a lot of fun. It was really good. So, what someone was mentioning with layers. So, when every part of him is red, and every piece of the player gets rendered on a different layer. And we can see this if I just like disable it piece by piece. We can see that the eyes just look like this. It's just an eyes layer. There's also the head layer. It's all the different positions that the head specifically can be at for any given frame. And I do that for every single piece of the player individually. And I do that so that you can change the color of individual pieces. I actually haven't shown this for a long time, but one of the cool features of my game is that you can like put custom designs like this. So let's make the head green. No. Head is still white, but the belly is green and the eyes are also green, like this. This is one of my favorite combos. I love this combination where it's a green robe with a white hood. It's basically the same now. Yeah, it basically is the same. I couldn't get into Persona, don't know why. I mean, it's got the anime high school aesthetic. There's definitely some cringe moments that's hard to get through. I'm nostalgic for it. I played it while I was in college, which was the perfect time for me to do that. Or maybe, I might have even been in high school, so it was perfect for me. That's pretty cool, thanks. So in game you can customize. Yeah, so you can find different dye colors like throughout the world, and then you can apply that dye color to any particular piece of the player, including the eyes, including the feet. It's kind of cool to see that. Don't you think the UI is a bit tedious? Oh, it's so tedious. I'm gonna do this apply dye to specific. It's so tedious. I'm completely with you, Yulvin. It is so unpleasant to have to like click this and go back and forth. It's a pain. There's definitely a better way to do it. I'm just gonna have to think about how to make it more convenient. Let's see if I can get the rest of this finished up before the end of the stream. So we get more tall grass. Then let's put in some sprouts. Da 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 da. Let's put in this one now. Oh, I missed up here. This is the part that I enjoy the least. Have you seen the Cappuccini theme? Cappuccino? Let's look at that. Does that have pictures? I've never seen this. That's nice. So is it just a color? I mean, it looks nice. I like my current theme though. It's nice and dark. It's not bad. Would you consider a sprite model to drag drop eyes onto? No, because a lot of people will be playing with a controller, so we can't do drag and drop. That's not an option. So I need to think of some way to have it so you just click on it with a controller. What I'm thinking about doing is having, like, when you click on, let's say you click on red, you click red, and then it allows you to click on, like, head, body, feet, and apply it one by one. Maybe like that would be good. I'll have to think about it. You use the Mocha variant? That's nice. Yeah, I like finding good good themes to my editors. In fact, before, I feel like I was using... Oh, it was Tiled. I was using the light theme of Tiled for my whole life until a stream a few weeks ago where someone's like, you can change it to a dark theme, and then I did. And it changed my life. It changed my life. Instead of making the apply things toggles, it would work better as buttons. Yeah, that's basically what I'm thinking. Where you click green, and then you click eyes, and once you click eyes, it would just apply it to the eyes. It's not like you're choosing which ones to apply to. So I'm with you. There's definitely going to be a better way to do that. Tab index over body parts, yeah, basically. Would you consider designing rigs for any of the bosses? What do you mean? If you mean rigs, do you mean like where you can swap out the sprites for something else? Dark mode is always typically better, like my opinion. I like dark mode just because it's easier on the eyes, and I'm looking at screens 24/7, so being able for that to be a little bit easier on my eyes is nice. Good morning, all. Thank you for being here. Unfortunately, I am at the end of the stream. I end at 10:30 every day because that's when the restaurants open up, and I am a hungry, hungry boy. So this is going to be the end of the stream. I'm so sorry to cut it short. Actually, I'm not cutting it short. This is when I always end, but I was having a good time. So in the new year, in January, I'm going to start streaming at 11 a.m. CT, which is 2 hours later. Actually, it's 2 hours later than I normally start. And I'm doing that because, like, it's just too early in the day how I've been doing it. I think that some people aren't up yet. So... And also the other thing is it allows me to stream for longer, because right now I'm ending at 10:30, so the stream was an hour and a half long. If I start streaming at 11 CT, I'll be able to go for 2 or maybe even 3 hours. So until then, I think that'll be a better time for me. But even still, thank you all for being here so much. It's been great. So many people here, Yolvin, Adele, Echo, Clickertail, and all the people on Twitch. Thank you so much for being here. It was a good stream, and I'm happy that things are going better with my stuttering. Streams I had, I was stuttering a lot, but this stream I didn't really stutter that much. I think I did pretty good. It fits better for European time zones. Yeah, probably in general. I try to be mindful specifically of U.S. time zones and European time zones, just because I think that's where most of my audience is. But at the same time, I wish there was a time that was good for Australia as well and Asia as well. But I just don't think I can. I just don't think I can do it. There's too many people. But that about covers it for the rest of the stream. Thank you so much for being here. I will be back again next week. It'll be next week for yet another Moonshire Monday. Thank you all. I will see you next time. Bye everyone.